Hello there, kia ora. It's always important to know your own biases, and I must confess, I have a bias on today's piece. I fucking hate Marmite. The taste is awful and the smell makes me gag. As a child, I once told my brother, who loved the goop, that it was made up from crushed spiders just so he wouldn't eat it anymore, and we didn't have to have it in the house after that. I'm very clearly biased against it. So, when the Prime Minister got fed up with media asking him about the school lunches debacle and snapped that if parents don't like the school lunch program, they should make their kids some Marmite sandwiches, well, my initial response is probably more extreme than others, and I felt that it was a cruel and unusual form of punishment for people who didn't seem grateful enough for the benevolent free school lunches that his government are providing. Now, there will always be people out there who get upset at the idea of children getting food in schools, demanding personal responsibility from parents, because they're either cruel and heartless or aren't aware that the Universal School Lunch Program in schools has some really wide-reaching positive outcomes. In a cost of living crisis, it saves the average family with two kids about $62 a week, or $2,000 a year. A US study showed that this can save about 5% on the monthly grocery bill. When rates, rents, food, fuel, power, medical, and transport costs keep going up under the laser focus of the government, a government which put a freeze on working for family adjustments that heavily impacted single parent families this week, which netted them just $970,000 extra, well, that money can make a huge difference for low income earners, middle income earners, any income earners. There's also evidence that healthy eating habits in schools influence healthier eating habits at home and drives an overall improved diet for the entire family. A healthy diet at school has also been shown to improve children's mental health outcomes, dental health, and reduces the risk of chronic diseases later in life. And a universal approach to lunch provision has been shown to reduce stigmatization of recipients, which reduces waste from the lunches. It improves behavioral issues in schools, like reducing issues around bullying and violence. And it helps improve academic outcomes in measured testing in both English and mathematics. You know, those basics the government wants done brilliantly. So there is a lot riding on these programs doing well. It's not just about a free lunch. The positive benefits are huge and long-lasting and impact a huge range of areas that we all want to see improvements in. So when the school lunch program had its overhaul to save money for those landlord tax breaks and unaffordable tax cuts, there was always going to be scrutiny on them. And under that scrutiny, Compass Group, who are the group in charge of the new program, they did not deliver. I mean, literally, that was the first issue to crop up, was schools whose lunches weren't delivered. Since then, we've seen a constant stream of issues, from tasteless goop served daily for nearly a fortnight to halal meals with ham, vegetarian meals with meat, and this week we've had plastic melted into the food and seen massive amounts of unappealing meals given away because the kids would rather go hungry than eat them. And the response from the government has been to pass the buck. The Prime Minister keeps saying it's David Seymour's problem. Seymour is calling it a teething issue. Erica Stanford, the Education Minister, demanded a meeting on Tuesday with Seymour over the issue, which he missed, all while the press hound the MPs about the steady flow of complaints from those who are dealing with the issues at the coalface. And the reason it keeps being an issue is because the issues with the end product keep happening. You know, it's not like having a party president convicted of historic sexual abuse charges that was kept out of the media for years by using name suppression laws, then dropped by the media days after it became public, so no hard questions were ever really asked of the party leader about his knowledge and involvement in the topic. After all, the fact is, this government claimed it wants to make decisions based on facts and evidence. And the facts and evidence here are really clear. A comprehensive school lunch program has far-reaching positive outcomes for our rangatahi, and that's before even looking at the economic benefits to local communities under the previous system. The Prime Minister keeps saying he wants the best outcomes for young people. His government rushed through changes, taking money from Te Reo Māori courses and lying about their outcomes, going on air to say schools should consider ignoring the humanities to focus on getting those outcomes in reading, writing, and maths, after using erroneous data to justify rushed curriculum changes. They rushed in half-completed teaching resources which added to educators' workloads as they filled the gaps needed to teach the changing curriculum. And here, It's an undertaking that has mountains of international research behind it that says it will help achieve that. And the reaction when that turns out to what we can only hope is turning to custard is to pass the buck and make out that parents should be grateful that anything is happening at all. And then he goes and adds insult to injury by invoking Marmite into all of this. Like our rangatahi haven't suffered enough. Hey, thanks for checking out today's video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so you get more updates as we go along. We deal with these guys for the rest of the year.